Somebody help the man who's about to jump. He was standing on a ledge on the 33rd floor. Your feet have begun to move slowly forward. The spectators below had their hearts in their mouths. The police even called in a helicopter to rescue him. Finally, a negotiator was brought in. I ended up talking for hours. But it doesn't really help, does it? Because of the man who jumped. He's one of the top psychologists in America. He understands people better than anyone in this room. What is the reason? A psychologist who understands human nature. On a dead end. Just when everyone else is at a loss. One with gray hair. The unshaven tramp walked by. He said he wanted to try it. The melon eaters nearby started laughing at him. There's nothing a negotiator can do about this guy. You don't want to embarrass yourself here. I bet this hamburger he's dead. The homeless man snatched the hamburger away. Show appreciation to a man. Then take the elevator to the roof. And the psychologist here takes one last look at the crowd. Close your eyes slowly. Meanwhile, the homeless man had climbed through the window and sat down at his feet. The psychologist was taken aback. Took a few steps back. The homeless man responds directly. Then he reached out and asked if he wanted a bite. The cops who arrived panicked before they could save the last one. Why another desperate one? The homeless man says everything is fine now. Let them have tea first. We'll take care of ourselves here. The police would have to leave first. The homeless man then told the man that the police were gone. If you want to jump, jump. The tramp went on. Every 6 seconds, someone dies on Earth. I'm just as good as you. Psychologists don't listen. Obviously, this is a dare. He raised his arms slowly, or decided to jump. The tramp suddenly said to him again, "You're a murderer." He felt angry at once. Why does jumping off a building make you a murderer? The homeless man explained that you jumped so irresponsibly. Not just kill yourself, and killed your family and friends. There are more people who love you. The psychologist interrupted the beggar directly. Then he took a picture of his son out of his pocket. Beggars strike while the iron is hot and you're an intellectual. You've read so many books. You ever see a book that says, "Is death the answer?" Then the beggar sent out a few more soul questions. The psychologists couldn't answer any of them. He looked at the beggar without a word. Said the beggar, fiddling with his torn trench coat.
Gostou? Isso te empresto. Mas se for por mesmo, melhor não. Pode manchar, ou pelas minhas ideias.
Let's give this beggar a 2-second thumbs up. Thanks for the hobo's further prodding. To question him as a very selfish man. The psychologist got angry and yelled at the homeless man. The psychologist was silent. It is true. No one is worse off than a beggar. Curious, he asked who the homeless man was. The homeless man calmly spoke about his experience. It turned out that the homeless man had been an entrepreneur. He used to run more than 300 companies. All the years on the road, busy career. To the point of neglecting my family altogether. That day he finally gave up all his work. I'm ready to fulfill my 3-year promise to my daughter. Take a family trip on a whim. Unfortunately, her cell phone rang again. There needs to be an important meeting.
Papai, eu e a mamãe preferimos te esperar.
Não, de jeito nenhum. Vocês seguem agora.
Then he left in a hurry. This time my father stood me up again. Only his wife and daughter remained disappointed. He sat in his car and watched the plane go away. Then suddenly the plane explodes in midair. His wife and daughter were killed instantly. He rushed to the wreckage, crying and remorseful. At this moment, he finally realized how important family was. Because the blow was too big. Since then he has lost his soul. He gave away all his wealth, and will accompany their own career 7. The girls were buried together in the grave. Since then, he has become a beggar. Become a soul builder. He wandered the streets. For those who have lost faith, and find hope for people who are down. Current job is a dream seller. I heard stories about homeless people. Psychologists were shocked. He asked the homeless man with a smile, "Someone like me, what can you sell?"
Para que continuen a escrever sua história.
The psychologist finally got over it. He decided to face the problem and solve it. No more playing with your life. The tramp took him to his house. As if to tell him, people whose lives are harder than his are trying to stay alive. How can you give up so easily? Then the beggar gave him the only bed to sleep in. The second day, the psychologist decided to talk to his son. But I saw it on the news. The son is making his own scene. Life is always like this, one wave after another. He raced to the roof and over the ledge. The son had already taken half a foot. Why did the father-son relationship come to this? My father was a man who pursued perfection and perfection. From the day the baby was born. His education was very strict. Always eager to let his son become a good person. He always asks his son to accomplish the impossible. Accomplished things. He never cared about his son's inner thoughts. This way of education, let the son's heart is very rebellious. Finally cornered his son. The father wants his son back. The son even told him to go away. The son says that being alive is his fault. It's his regret. He never satisfied his father. The father begged his son for forgiveness. Make sure you give yourself a chance. My son can't listen anymore. He began to move his body and open his hands to jump. Now my father made a surprising decision.
Eu me jogo primeiro. O que você disse? Não vou saber viver sem você.
My father began to move slowly forward. The body is completely suspended. The son rushed to pull away his father. He didn't realize his father still loved him so much. The two held each other tightly. The estrangement between father and son for many years was finally resolved at this moment.
Para que você possa continuar a escrever sua história, mesmo quando o mundo desaba sobre você.
A beggar succeeded in saving 2 lives, saved a little family. In this materialistic society, everyone wears a different mask, playing different roles, in this noisy life tired and catered to. Maybe we're afraid to look at who we really are. Maybe it's protecting the most vulnerable part of my heart. But anyway, when we encounter difficulties, there must be no extreme approach. Calm down appropriately. Put a comma in your life. Get a new angle, get a new approach. Bye.